Hi, I'm Andy Schertz, Product Manager for Epson. Today, to introduce you to the Colorworks C6000 series of printers. This introduction is a group of 4 printers, 2 8-inch and 2 4-inch printers. The difference between the two of 8 and 4 is that we have auto cutter and peeler in both models. Now when you see the 8-inch and the 4-inch printer, the first thing you're going to notice is they look nearly identical, and in truth they really are nearly identical. So if you learn how to use any one of this 4 printer family, you really know how to use all of them. And that is done by design, because we know people will have a mix in their workforce and we want to have the right printer for the right job. Learn one, you can use them all. Let me take you through the printer a little bit to show you how easy it is to operate and how ideal it is suited for mission critical applications. All 4 colors are stored right here in the front of the printer, and they are used individually based on your printing. So if you happen to be using more cyan, that will wear out first, getting to use all the ink that you sell. When you want to replace it, simply push this tab, the cartridge pops out, you take it out, get your replacement, and drop it in. And for clarity, the cartridges are keyed. You cannot accidentally put the wrong cartridge in the wrong spot. It really is simple to use. Changing supplies on the Epson Colorworks printers are extremely easy. In addition to replacing the ink, occasionally we will have to replace the maintenance box that captures waste ink. To do that, we simply open the top cover, open this cover here, lift straight out, get your replacement box, drop straight down, shut the cover, and we're ready to go. So on the C6000 family, we use a spindle to load the media. Simply take your media, drop it onto the spindle, replace the cover, then opening whatever side is convenient, drop the carrier in, squeeze this to adjust, just snug with the media, slide it into the print mechanism, and we're good to go. In many operations, people have different label sizes, and they may need to do runs of one size or another. Again, what's possible is that we can have alternate media sizes on a spindle already preloaded. So when we need to, we simply take the printer, we can open it up, back the media out, put this spindle aside, and we're up and running with the alternate label size. So when we change our media size, we're going to have to make some adjustments to the guides internally. There's only one adjustment. Simply squeeze the lever, scoot into position, and you're set to go. One of the great new features of the 6000 family is this adjustable gap sensor. So it allows us to handle irregular shaped labels. Like in this case, we see there's a notch. So we've got a detector and sensor right here, and I can actually slide them to different positions, just being careful to move the top and the bottom to the same location. And now my C6000 is ready to sense an irregular label. So there you can see how easy it is to load the media, change ink, change maintenance box. Really all you have to do from here is print. Now one of the things we've done to really make the printer easy to use is we've actually entered a full control panel with menu keys and a color screen to show you what's happening. So you can see the colors of the different inks, what their levels are. If we have any error message on the printer, this will actually switch to a pictorial diagram to show you what's wrong, where do you need to pay attention to, and it will take you through step by step how to do it. So even if you have an operator that's really not familiar with the printer itself will help guide them through the operation, really making this easy for anybody to use in a busy industrial setting. So now again, we talk about the fact that these printers are suited for industrial mission critical applications, which means if something does go wrong, we've got to be able to remedy it quickly, okay? A lot of thought was placed in the C6000 series on how to clear jams and gain access. So if we had a jam, we can easily get the cover off. We have a lever here we can remove. We can take the media out. And then we can open this gate. It drops it down. I'm going to open up the front cover. And at this point, I can actually get to everything. And in fact, my fingers are touching from both sides here. There's no hidden places where a label can be trapped that I can't get to it. So I can get this printer cleaned up, back into action, ready to run soon. and you're back up and running. So I've shown you how easy it is to load and operate the C6000 series printers, but now I'd like to talk about what really sets these apart and what sets Epson way ahead in the color inkjet space for industrial printing is the connectivity of these printers. These printers have already been integrated with the most popular middleware packages like SAP, Linux, Mac, broad connectivity, okay? And in addition, it has the remote management tools that allow it to be operated in a large enterprise. So when we talk about an industrial customer, they may have 500 or 1,000 printers spread all across different states or cities, and they need to be able to manage these efficiently. With Epson Device Administration, I can get in there, I can define a golden printer, and then send these settings to 50 of its brethren on that network, okay? If I need to know what's happening with the printer, perhaps my IT specialist is in one state, the printer's in another, they can literally take their phone, they can get into the printer, access all the settings in the printer, make modifications, diagnose it remotely. I could have the printer even send an alert. So if it's low on ink, I've talked about changing it, we can send it to the phone. Somebody sees, the printer over in the loading dock 6 needs to be changed. I can go right out there and update it. Furthermore, maybe I'm not using it in a hand apply application, but I want to integrate it into an automated work stream. Every printer comes standard with an I/O port that allows it to be paused, started, and stopped, and controlled remotely by some third-party equipment automation system. Maybe a vision reader to check image quality, or maybe a robot to self-apply, okay? The connectivity with the printers all the way up to even directly replacing a thermal transfer printer. So these are the only color inkjet printers today available on the market with ZPL2 capabilities. So you literally can unplug your monochrome thermal transfer printer, plug this in place, and you're ready to print. This ease of use, robust design is what really makes the C6000 family from Epson the leader in this marketplace. So as we've pointed out, we have 4 and 8-inch printer models to cover different label sizes. We also have different paper handling capabilities. And the most unique that I'll show first here is the peel option, with Epson being the first and only color inkjet printer to offer this peel capability. And what this does is it produces the label that is actually already peeled. So imagine if I have gloves on or I'm in a busy day, I don't want to spend all day long trying to work on the peeling labels. I can simply take the label off. There's my next label, ready to go. And it's ready to be applied. So sometimes peeling is not going to be appropriate, and you're going to want a printer that can actually leave the liner on for later application of labels. And for that, we have the cutter model here that I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate. And I'll go ahead and tell it to print something and show you how the cutter works, which basically it will go ahead and print the label, and then it can be programmed to cut immediately. Right now I have it programmed to cut immediately. So for example, the label will come out, it's going to cut it. It has not peeled it. It's going to cut it again, and it will cut. At this time I've printed 3 labels. But had I wanted to, I could have let it do the entire job, print through the 3 labels or whatever the number was, cut at the end. And by the way, I could disable the cutter completely. And finally, I could actually put continuous media in here and cut to size so that I can actually have a variable length. So the cutter is a great feature demonstrating the real breadth of capabilities we bring to the market with the C6000 family. One of the challenges we face with the typical thermal transfer printer is that we can only access the unit, the media, and the ribbons from the side. So we have to open this cover up here and now find access. In this case, I have a printer here, but actually it's very common to have something else in your way when you're trying to work here. Space is at a premium. So I have to reach around, get the roll out, and then to load the new roll, I got to make sure I have enough roll between this printer or whatever's obstructing me, get it on there, and sort of reach in awkward angles to make sure that I load everything where it needs to go. I can get it done, but certainly it's easier if you have more versatile access. So let me demonstrate. So on the C6000 here, the printer can open either direction, front, back, or here. In this case, for front-only access, I can just reach right in. The media comes right up over the top. I can drop a fresh roll in. So you can see even if I had stuff on either side of this printer, I'd have no problem loading media on the 6500 series. Okay, so I've demonstrated how easy it is to use, but the most important thing about the printer is printing. What I want to demonstrate now is the speed at which it prints and the beautiful print quality. So when we look here, we can see the barcodes are sharp, the colors are vibrant, the text is super readable, and even on a variety of labels. Look how small this label is here, and you can look at the small 2D barcode, completely readable, or the beautiful color and shadows of this label and the detail. So whatever you're trying to print with the C6000 series of printers, you have unbelievable, stunning print quality. So we've been talking a lot about the different benefits of these printers, but the most important thing is, how do they actually print? Let's take a look at the labels we get. We want to take a close look at the print quality of here, and we'll look at the 6000 series compared to the thermal transfer, and generally looks not so bad if we just look casually at it, but when we really look at the detail of this fine font here, this is still 3-point font, still perfectly readable on the 6000 series, but really we're going to have to get up to maybe 4 before we really see anything meaningful. And look at this barcode, is kind of muddied, but this is actually pretty well tuned in, and understand that this is the capability of the 6000 series, but in fact the 6000 series is actually even able to make a label like this in full color on the C6000 series. Now let's talk a little bit about durability. Of course, if the label's good, it still has to survive. So let me just take something as simple as some suntan lotion here, and I will try to rub it on my barcode, and you see really it's fine. In contrast, when I take my thermal transfer printer, there it is, the barcode is now no longer readable. And this is just suntan lotion. Of course, if I took something a little stronger, like let's say an oil, here's an oil, and I made a little bit of a mess right there, but you can see it just wipes it straight off of the thermal transfer ribbon. So this is why we're going to have to look at using maybe a more durable media. This was just a wax ribbon, so we'll kick it up a notch with some more durable media now. Okay, so we saw that the wax and really isn't intended to be that durable, so now I'm going to use actually a Kimdura material. In fact, this is Kimdura for the color inkjet, Kimdura for the thermal transfer, and I use a premium resin ribbon. This is really the hallmark of reliability of thermal transfer, and we can see that when I try to rub that oil on there, it really holds up great, and so does our color inkjet. Okay. However, if I just reach around my garage and get a few other things, like maybe this adhesive remover, it looks good there. It just washes off. How about some nail polish remover? Let's hit our color inkjet with nail polish remover. How about our thermal transfer with nail polish? And there's our image gone again. How about some paint thinner? This type of thinner. Again, the inkjet is fine. And there goes our barcode. And so what we see is, even when we get into the resin ribbon on a premium material, we just don't have the durability of color inkjet. So we've talked about the Epson printer is easier to set up, easier to use, much more durable image, and just look at the output it can produce between beautiful shades and gradations, images, putting photographs, tight barcodes, minuscule fonts. It really is the print solution going forward. So that concludes my overview of the 6000 series. I hope that you learned a lot. I hope you want to contact your sales rep to learn more, and let's move forward with Epson. Thank you for your time.